Hey everyone, it's Yggdrasil. Hope you're all doing well. This is just going to be me talking about the Dragonflight cinematic and what we've seen so far about it in the game. Now, it's been about 24 hours since the expansion was revealed, and we got a little bit of insight into what's going to be presented to us as players this time around. You know, we're all tired of Shadowlands, we were tired of BFA. Legion was awesome, it did have some hiccups, and it was the start of big power-ups that we've unfortunately have to grown accustomed to. So I see that they're trying to do this kind of big change in Dragonflight going forward, what with them supposedly removing borrowed power. Most of our stuff's going to be coming from 2 talent trees. And I just wanted to give my little bit of opinion on that. I know I haven't talked too much about World of Warcraft, maybe a little bit in my Mwizala video, but that was just like a brief sort of touch on the subject, spur of the moment kind of deal. So first I wanted to give my insight into why I'm talking about this. I've been a World of Warcraft player since Warlords of Draenor. I know I'm a WoD baby, guilty as charged. But if that did anything for me, it was the fact that because there was no endgame that I had to worry about, I essentially was given free reign to sort of go about my own pace. And because of that, I got to be a little more invested in the build up to Warlords of Draenor. I got to invest myself in the lore. I got to take my time with leveling, see all the different jobs and, classes and zones. You can tell I moved on to FF like many of you. Excuse me. And so because of all of that, I was able to appreciate the world. And by the end of WoD and towards the start of Legion, I was going out for AOTC in Hellfire Citadel. It stayed pretty much the same because I was in school during that time, but when I finished around BFA, I was able to join a mythic. But come BFA, I was able to join some of my friends in a mythic raiding group on Moonguard. Yes, Moonguard, sue me. People were there, they were Alliance. I know, I'm checking all the red flags. Moonguard, Alliance, Warlords of Draenor, baby. Sue me. But I did get to raid Mythic, and honestly, that's where I started advancing and seeing myself as a better player by pushing myself through Mythic content. And honestly, if it wasn't for being a Mythic Raider in BFA, I would have quit BFA at that point. You know, we had Shadowbringers out at that point. It looked awesome. We had bunny girls, all that jazz. That's basically my roadmap throughout. I stopped playing Shadowlands after I killed Heroic Painsmith. I dropped my guild because of many complications at the start of 9.0 even. I got AOTC and then I stopped raiding and I was dropped from the guild shortly after, excuse me. And so here I am. I'm waiting for 9.2.5 to come back. I think the Season 4 stuff looks pretty chill. At that point, they tend to have all the catch-up mechanics that we're going to get until the start of 10.0. And lo and behold, here we are. I do plan to come back for some of 10.0. It might be a month. I don't plan to pre-order, and I don't think many of us should. I think we should hold. Hold, brothers, please. Because this is the hype phase. We see this every single time. I'm going to get into the stuff I wanted to talk about now. Finally, sorry about that. This is the honeymoon phase of we get the trailer, we get something exciting. It wasn't super exciting this time, and I think that was really good because I'm tired of seeing a big bad pop up on the screen, or we have the Alliance vs. Horde big badass moments that hype us, and then we get let down. So I think it's full well that we finally have a expansion that is going to be toned down at the start. You know, as they said, we're going to be scientists and adventurers just like freely coming to go and explore these new uncharted lands revealed Pandaria style. And I hope if they take the Pandaria aspects from the zone design as well as that Grizzly Hills feels that they were hinting at in the presentation, I think that'll do well. We really need a toned down expansion that just caters to the player. So I think overall what we saw was successful, but I am still holding my breath because we've fallen into these traps of the expansion reveal hypes us. We rushed to pre-order, and I'm glad they didn't reveal the pre-orders. I think they were actually really set to go about and do this, but, you know, I think they came to realize they didn't have much to present and go on right now, which is good. I'm super glad they didn't reveal these pre-orders. I think it'll be much better for the players to start seeing a little more. You know, alpha goes out, we start getting like the teeniest trickle of information, the teeniest trickle of feedback. And feedback is going to be key to this expansion doing well. Not for just me, not for just you, for the whole of the player base. We gave feedback in Shadowlands, or even before that, sorry. We gave feedback in BFA, Azerite power, Azerite armor. We gave so much feedback. It didn't go anywhere. It fell on deaf ears. They're like, oh yeah, sorry, we can't change it right now. We'll iterate it come 8.1. 8.1 comes out. Here's more Azerite stuff. Here's more of a grind for you to do. It doesn't address anything. It's going to make it a little bit more bearable, like for trading purposes. It didn't do anything. It really didn't. 8.3 rolls around. Here's corrupted gear. Corrupted gear is going to work like this. It's like, no, this is awful. We want it. We need a market for this. We need a vendor for this. We need some way to remove. Otherwise, this is going to be a nightmare. Handing stuff around is going to be a nightmare. They did it, sure enough. It took months for the player base to push, and then we got a vendor on a rotating schedule. What the hell was that? It was fun at the end, but by that point everyone had everything. 9.0 comes around. There's consumables that are going to be put into our soul binds and our trees, and it's gated for some reason, and renown has like a set amount per week. And what is this? It's not player friendly. If you fall behind a week, people have real lives. If you're falling behind, you're out. This is a system that's meant for someone that is a mythic raider, that is invested in the top content. Sure, have fun with that. That's what I did in BFA. I ran those islands. I ran for Abyss artifact gear. Shadowlands? No, I wasn't gonna do that. I dropped to a heroic raider. I progressed with like 3 different guilds because people saw me, and I advertised myself, and I grew a small network. I got some AOTCs, not a lot, but a few. And you know, I couldn't bring myself to do that as just a heroic raider. There was no point in it. And I hope that Dragonflight really removes these grinds. I pray if they take one thing away, if there is a grind, make it accessible, not on a weekly lockout. Make it so that if someone wants to push, let them push. Just let them do it. To someone who only might have time available on the weekends and they're not able to play the weekdays, but you know what, you need at least 3 days progression to catch up, and you have them time gated daily, you know what, you've already scuffed your players. They're not going to feel compelled to progress. And I know this is a gripe that's been brought up for the last several years, but now is the time that we see that. Could it be because of all the situations and the players are bleeding? They're bleeding, they're running away, they're running to FF, they're running to Guild Wars, they're running where and whenever. It's just bleeding out. This is the time for them to listen, because if they do not, we're going to have the exact same thing we did in Shadowlands. It's going to be hype for a month. We're going to enjoy everything that's brand new, fresh coat of paint for the first month, maybe 2 months even. But then that paint's going to come off, and we're going to see they're up to their old tricks again. And that's not going to work on the players for a third time now. It just won't. So, you know, this part might have been a little ranty. I apologize. But it just goes to show how much they have to get it right. Because there's people like me who always pre-ordered the expansions. I pre-ordered Legion. I pre-ordered BFA. I pre-ordered Shadowlands. I am not going to be pre-ordering this until, at the very least, I see feedback late into beta that is being acknowledged and addressed prior to the game's release. And then I want to see a roadmap of the progression they are making on the game beyond 10.0's release. I want to see what they might be thinking of 10.05. I want to see what they're thinking of 10.1. I need to see things that show a good path of progression for the game. So what are these things? I want to bring some of my personal thoughts into attention. I want to see account-wide player progression. Not just, oh, here, you've unlocked this mechanic for your main, now your alts get it, but at a slower rate, or your alts still have to unlock it, but the rate of progression will be slightly better. I don't want something like that. As someone who, again, I'm going to be referencing Final Fantasy, as someone who played that game from start to finish, I just adore how much freedom they give the player. If something is done, you don't lose anything when you swap to something else. I hated playing a hunter in 8.2 having to go and re-get his best in slot artifact powers, I think was the thing. The power-ups for your little necklace in 8.2. I hated going back as a mage, and I had to learn all of it all over again. I had to do PvP. And then when I came back to my hunter, you know what? I didn't do PvP on my hunter. So my hunter lost out. I hated that. Player account-wide progression needs to be simultaneous on all levels, or you have one character do the grind, and that's it. Everyone else rises up to the challenge. There needs to be no rate ups. There needs to be no quicker on your alts. It honestly just needs to be there, because players get tired after doing the grind once. I think, honestly, the alternate form of leveling that we saw in 9.0, which escapes me right now, but it was a faster way of leveling. You could just grind dungeons. You can get some forms of gear and reputation a little early at level 50. I think that was very good. I think I want to see that again. I want to see a better iteration of it. I need to see things that respect player time. Now, as with player time, I do not like the world quest system. It was fun and innovative in Legion, and I never knew the experience of old school daily blues. So to me, world quests always looked like blues, but a little more varied. They weren't the same every single day. It was nice. But come Shadowlands, we started seeing them take longer. It started getting dull. They started pulling from the quest lines, and they started just being long, monotonous, and for honestly lesser reward than if I just did a bunch of slower paced ones. I enjoy world quests where it's simply kill a set of mobs that are wreaking havoc. They're not really intuitive, but they're quick. Kill this one rare guy that's causing harm. Maybe every now and then he drops like a toy or something, I don't know. Or the minigame world quests, those are pretty fun. Aside from that, I don't like world quests, that make me turn my brain on, because it's clearly not content for you to have your brain turned on for, if that makes sense. It's meant to be a part of the grind, to get your reputation, to get a borrowed power. And again, if there's no borrowed power, there has to be something as world quests will give us. Will it be gold? Will it be reputation? Will it be some form of currency we can use to build up a reputation in a cosmetic sort of way? That kind of stuff, that'll work. But there's less reason for world content without a tie to that kind of power, at least in the sense that Blizzard has been presenting with for the last few years. So we need to see something new in that regard. We need to see more mini games. We need to see more things that are available to the individual player. Housing is a big one. We've been asking for it for years. The garrison did not hold up to our expectations. So we need to see something along the lines of cosmetic player progression that isn't gear, that is not gear. Gear is nice. We love gear. We love our numbers on our gear. We love looking badass in our gear. But it doesn't have to be the only cosmetic form of progression. And player housing is the perfect way to allow a player to be able to express themselves in a way that is not tied to any of that player power or path of progression that we've been so used to. And now then, I think with story, You know, I think a lot of us are just really burnt out of the story that we've been presented with, the narrative driven to us. If it truly is the end of a saga, leave the saga dead. You know, as Asmongold says, what sword? Where's the sword? I don't see a sword. Do you? No, leave the sword alone. Leave it alone. Silithus never happened. N'Zoth, Shadowland, you know, who's Butter Boy in the top of the Shadowlands Orbo Spire? I don't know who he is. What's Shadowlands? It was a fever dream. That was it. We beat N'Zoth as we beat him. There was a fever dream. We're Dragonflight now, baby. We're How to Train Your Dragon. We're going to World of Berk. That's us now, okay? We're going there, please. And on the topic of that, I will absolutely riot if other dragon mounts are not applicable to the Dragonflight system. I think having dragons be a primary feature of this expansion as a back of the box, Dragonflight can be back of the box, but I want other dragons to share in it. Imagine the prestige, the whole expansion of rare dragons flying around in the Dragon Isles. Imagine someone swooping down on a time-lost proto-drake. That is crisp. That is prestige. That is something that has been missing in this cluster of mounts that we've been exposed to for years, and it's only getting worse. So by being able to limit the pool to just dragons, and then people can focus on the more pristine dragon mounts, I think that would be awesome. So just things like that. And as for the narrative itself, keep it simple, keep it something adventurers can cling to that is safe. We have Galakron, we have Murozond, maybe something's going to happen up with Rathion. But simple adventures, you know, I got so happy seeing Tuskar and Gnolls. Maybe let's see some kobolds, I don't know, the centaurs, ooh. Keep it simple like that. Have your big moments, sure. Have your wind up in 10.1, excuse me, leading up to something. Have a bigger build up in 10.2. Whatever is the build up, make it slow, make it obnoxious, make it visible in all parts. I hated not seeing Sylvanas or the Jailer throughout all of the leveling. Make it known to us. Give us the Lich King experience where it's hinting, it's taunting you. The influence is everywhere. Not just, oh, Anima's being drained everywhere. Champion, Maw Walker, please help us. No. Make it something that is relatable to the adventurer on the normal Azerothian adventurer scale. You said we're going to be adventurers at the very start of this journey. Let us stay as adventurers. We can rise up to the occasion when it's presented to us, but please just let the build-up be slow, let it be something that players can recognize, and let it feel good. And honestly, I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think this video ran on a little bit longer than what I thought it would end up like, and I think it sounded a little bit more of a rant, but it's just because as someone who played World of Warcraft as their main game for years on end, up until very recently, and having gone to other MMOs and seeing what those MMOs have to offer, I know the WoW development team can do a lot better, especially in with the scandal seemingly winding down, but there's still a big push for the community, for the development team, for Activision Blizzard as a whole to do better. And especially with Microsoft seemingly coming in to try and assist. So that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking a little bit too much of your time. If you enjoyed this kind of video and maybe want to see me talk about stuff like this a little bit more, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And be sure to follow me on Twitter on the link below, where I'm always willing to talk about things that I love. So again, thank you very much for watching this video to the end, and have a great day.